The German payments company Wirecard has seen wild swings in its share price of late. In the last 2 weeks, it's lost over 98% of its value and then recovered 200% from the recent lows. And it hasn't stopped there either, with more wild swings more recently. What's going on? Joining us now for today's IG Trading the Markets podcast is IG journalist Josh Warner. Josh, let's start first of all by asking the very basic question: what is Wirecard?
Wirecard, has only really started to draw attention over the last couple of years. But I mean, it's a German payment processing company. It handles, mobile, online, in-store payments for mostly on behalf of other businesses. So it acts as a sort of a middleman between businesses and the issuing banks, and helps provide, credit cards and other sort of solutions on behalf of other companies around the world, whether that be, an airline or a gambling firm, for example.
Why is Wirecard then in the news? What is it about what's gone on that's given us this wild swing in its share price?
There's a lot to process. Basically, Wirecard started to attract attention when it was rapidly growing, and it claimed that it was one of the leading companies as people shifted to cashless and digital payments. It aggressively expanded. It started acquiring businesses across the world, particularly in Asia, and revenue started to soar from 40 million euros in 2004 to over 2 billion euros in 2018. And in that time, we saw the share price grow by similar amounts, 3,500% in that time. It peaked in August 2018 at about 191 euros, and it was valued at about 24 billion euros. So we can see the size that this company grew to. But that alarming growth started to draw accusations about holes in its accounts and missing money, which Wirecard always denied, claiming that it was the motive of short sellers and people trying to manipulate the share price. So this sort of scandal went on, and until last month, the company finally admitted that 1.9 billion euros was missing, and now we've seen the company file for insolvency. Regulators have started, obviously, their investigations into the company, including whether the markets were misled, and even a criminal investigation has been launched against the CEO, Marcus Braun, who has obviously been sacked now, but he's been replaced by James Frey, who was only appointed one day before as the chief compliance officer, and now finds himself flung into the hot seat of a company in serious trouble.
Yeah, he's obviously got a lot to do. Just going back to that point you mentioned about the amount of money here. This is large amounts of money, 1.9 billion euros. How does a company go about losing that sort of sum?
Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, Wirecard was operating in some countries where it didn't have its own license to process payments. So this meant it had to use third parties to do all its businesses in countries like, Singapore and Dubai, for example. As far as Wirecard were concerned, these third parties were processing payments that were sent by Wirecard, and in return, Wirecard were receiving commission. These businesses started to report big profits, but the cash just wasn't feeding through to Wirecard itself. And the excuse that Wirecard was giving constantly was that the money wasn't being held in its own accounts, but instead in escrow accounts, actually most in the Philippines. So this put the spotlight on auditors, who obviously had to look and try and find this money. And one by KPMG suggested that actually much of its profits and large amounts of cash just couldn't be accounted for. So it just seems that these businesses just didn't exist. The FT, which has led the investigations into Wirecard and revealed the extent of this scandal, claims Wirecard's Philippines office, where all this money was supposed to be held, was actually the home to a retired seaman and his family. So still a lot of questions and not a lot of answers at present. But serious amounts of money have gone missing.
But if you dial up Wirecard on the IG platform, any share trading platform, you still see it is live. What has this done to Wirecard shares? Why are they still trading, given what you just said about where the business is?
Yeah, I mean, considering that it's filed for insolvency, you would think that there isn't any future to give the shares to trade on, right? But it seems to be the case that it is up to Wirecard to keep the shares trading. It's their decision. Deutsche Börse could delist the company, but that seems only likely to happen if Wirecard fails to keep reporting on time. So something that maybe happens down the line if Wirecard keep trading. It does seem to be down to formalities. Until Wirecard knows exactly what's going on, there's still a chance the company could be saved and it could make a comeback, which is why shares might still be trading now, even though that looks almost impossible. So it might just come down to that. In terms of, the trading angle, I mean, shares have obviously plunged, but they still remain really, really volatile. Today, shares are trading at, less than €6, and the company's worth just over 700 million euros, I think. So you can see the amount of value that's been lost. But I think as long as the shares remain volatile, it'll attract, day traders and short sellers. If a company can potentially double in value one day to the next, there's still going to be people attracted to that. But I mean, as a long-term investment, I think we can safely say that Wirecard's not suitable. But these rapid ups and downs of the stock means traders will continue to capitalize so long as it's still trading.
Okay, Josh. All right. Well, thanks so much indeed for summarizing all that. And don't forget that if you do trade Wirecard and indeed any shares or securities on the IG platform, do remember to continue to monitor your risk. And if you have any questions at all about how to trade these, do contact your client manager. Wirecard especially has seen some really wild swings, and to get caught the wrong side of a trade could mean some big losses. So protect your losses, ensure that you trade successfully with IG. That's Josh Warner joining us there with a look at Wirecard. For more videos from us here at IGTV, join us on Twitter at IGTV and subscribe to our YouTube channel.